Hi everyone, this is Marina and I'm here to show you how to schedule a secure Zoom meeting. First thing I'm going to do is go to zoom.us in my internet browser and I'm going to go ahead and log in. Well, I'm already logged in, so I'm going to click on my account. So what we're looking to do is change the settings for our Zoom meetings so that it gives us the most secure options. We don't want anyone to be able to hack into our meeting while we're talking to participants. So on the left side, I'm going to go to Settings. So we're basically going to go through the settings and make sure that the more secure options are either enabled or disabled depending on what we need. So we're in Meeting and we're going to go through all these different options. So we're going to make sure that the host video and participant videos are disabled at first. When you go in, you can always enable it later and so can they. But we want to start off without video and without sound, especially when people come in, they're still preparing, they're getting ready, so we don't want to hear all that background noise. So we want to make sure that Join Before Host is disabled. We're going to be using a feature called Waiting Room, which is a little further down below, which is more secure, so we're going to wait for that. All this personal ID, meeting ID, we don't want to use. A personal meeting ID is a number that is always the same, so it's personal. So I have a number that whenever I schedule a meeting I can use so that the people that I meet with very regularly can just know that they can use that number. The problem with that is that someone who you don't want coming into these meetings, if they have a hold of that number, they can hack into any of your subsequent meetings. So we're going to avoid using that personal meeting ID. You can require a password for your meetings. You'll see here, embed password and meeting link for one-click join. When you supply your participants with the link for the Zoom meeting, the password is embedded, meaning they're going to click on that link, it's going to let them right through to the meeting, and it's not going to ask for that password. Personally, I'm okay with that because when I share that link, I'm sharing it via email to the people I want in that meeting. This is not something you would want to share over social media, right? But if you're not comfortable with that, you can unclick this, and when you share that link, it will require the participant to put in a passcode. So that's okay too, right? So scrolling down, the next thing I want to look at is the chat. I do like having a chat because that's where people can ask questions without having to interrupt the speaker, but there's no reason for a private chat. I do not want a participant that potentially is not supposed to be there sending messages privately to another participant, so I have disabled that. File transfer, I have also disabled. Again, I don't want a participant sending a file to me or to other participants through the chat, so I've disabled that. Okay. Allow hosts to put attendees on hold. That is enabled. So if someone is attending and I don't want them there, I can actually put them on hold and temporarily remove them. You can also completely remove them, but I like to have this option. If for some reason I'm not sure if someone should be there, I can just move them to the waiting room and let them back in later potentially if I decide to. Right? So screen sharing, I have only allowed myself to share the screen, and I've disabled desktop screen share for users. Again, I don't want them taking over my meeting, especially if they're not supposed to be there. I've disabled annotation and whiteboard also for the same reason. I don't want a participant taking over my meeting, especially if they're not supposed to be there. Right? Allow removed participants to rejoin. If I have removed someone, it's for a reason. I don't want them coming back. So I make sure that that is not enabled, right? I don't want them to come back in. Right, scrolling down, I've actually disabled virtual background. Again, you can choose whatever image you want for that virtual background. It's fun, but there's potential for misuse, so I've disabled it. All right, here's where we're getting to the waiting room. So when I start a meeting, my participants join, they are not automatically put into my meeting. they are sent to a waiting room. So they're going to see a screen that tells you that they're waiting for the host to allow them into the meeting. So I've enabled this. All participants will automatically go into the waiting room and actually customize what they see. So if I click on this little pencil, I've added a logo, the O²CM SLS logo here, just so that they know that they're in the right place. And so this is what they'll see. Please wait, the meeting host will let you in soon. And you can actually change that, but I'm okay with it. And whatever your meeting topic is will appear here. So your participants will know, oh, okay, I'm in the right place. I just have to wait. So that's something you can customize also. Right? As far as the settings go, that's all I'm really worried about. So these automatically have saved. So I'm going to go right here. I could go to meetings and then schedule meeting, or up here there's always the schedule meeting button. So there's several places I can do it. I already created the test meeting. Let's do another one. I'm going to click on schedule a new meeting. Okay. So this topic is what your participants are going to see in the waiting room. Test meeting 2. Oh, or if I could spell. So this is what's going to pop up. So make sure that's something that they will recognize as the meeting that they want to be attending. The time and the amount, the day, the time, how long, that's all things that you can edit. Here's the meeting ID. So my personal meeting ID is this number. It will never change. If I know I'm having a meeting every day with one person, I could give them this number, and that way every day they could click on the same link and get to me. Problem being, if someone I don't want gets a hold of that number, they can also join any meeting I create using my personal ID. So that's why I want to avoid it. So when I hit save, it's going to generate a number for me, and it's going to be different every time. The meeting password, it generates something for me. I can change it, make it whatever I want, and I can share that with my participants. Remember, I turned off the embedded link, where the password is in the embedded link, so everyone who joins this meeting will need to put in the password. Video is off as I've made it in my settings. Audio is both. Everyone's muted because my settings have kind of now transferred here, and I've enabled that waiting room. So I shouldn't have to change any of this. It should all be set the way I want it. I'm going to hit save. Okay, and this is where I now have that meeting ID. So this is a new ID. Every time I schedule a meeting, it's going to be different. It tells me what the password is, and this is the join URL. So when I hit copy the invitation, this is what I could email to my participants. I could copy and paste it into an email, send it to exactly who I want in here. The passcode is right there. I could paste this into a calendar invite also, and then they could see the meeting ID. They could click on the link, put in the password, and access the meeting. Okay, so that's how we schedule a secure Zoom meeting. The next video is going to show you, once you're in the meeting, if you have some sort of trouble with a participant, your options for securing during your meeting.